Hey guys, happy Sunday. Welcome back to Speaking360. What are we going to be talking about today then? Well, we're going to be talking about something that some of you struggle with, I know. We're going to talk about how to overcome speaker's block. How do you overcome speaker's block? If there is such a thing. And there's a number of great quotes actually we're going to cover in today's lesson. But this one, Rick Krug posted like 10 years ago, and I've never forgotten it. It just makes me laugh. If I had $1 for every time I got distracted, man, I'd love some ice cream right now. No, great. I don't know where he got it from, but it always makes me laugh. And that kind of reminds me. I think that's me when I'm trying to put together a presentation. Often I'm kind of staring blankly out the window, thinking, "Oh my goodness, why can't I think of anything clever to say or anything clever to write?" So that's what we're going to be talking about: how to overcome speaker's block. And it comes, the inspiration from this comes from Seth Godin. This is me interviewing Seth Godin at the International Maxwell Certification in 2016, actually. One of the benefits of working with John Maxwell is that you get to meet, lots of great people and work with lots of great people. So I had the privilege of interviewing Seth, and we were talking about writer's block, and he said, look, there's no such thing as writer's block. He said, think of it this way. Does a plumber get plumber's block? Does a plumber get plumber's block? No, a plumber doesn't get plumber's block. Sometimes they feel like plumbing more than others. When they don't feel like it, they still got to plumb. They just got to do, maybe they're not their most creative plumbing. Maybe they got to grind through and get the day done, but they're plumbers, so they got to plumb. I thought that was such a neat way of thinking about it. So, yeah. There's no such thing as writer's block. There's no such thing as speaker's block. We've got to just kind of find a way to move forwards. And when we do, look at this quote by Robert Graves. This is a beauty. Write this down. There's no such thing as great writing. There's no such thing as great writing. Only great rewriting. It's clever, isn't it? So basically, you think about this with writing and speaking the same. You have in your mind this idea, this kind of nebulous idea that you think is great, that is going to be awesome when you write it or speak it out. But it's not until you actually give birth to it, either by writing it out or by maybe speaking it out. It's not until you do that then you kind of, you gradually get clearer on what it is you're trying to say. Because you're not clear at first. You think you are, but you're not. So you need to give birth to it. Then you can make it better. That's the key. If you can give birth to it, then you can make it better. So you've got to write it out or you've got to speak it out. You've got to do one of those two things so that you can then start working on it. So by going through that process, then it gets better and better and better. So it's not great at first. It's great at the end of the process, the rewriting. Clever, isn't it? Well, it's very similar, I think. There's no such thing as great speaking. This doesn't have quite the same ring to it, admittedly, but there's no such thing as great speaking. Only great re-speaking. And I think there's a lot of truth in that, but it doesn't actually, it's never going to be a quote that takes off, is it? Even though it's great to quote myself, and I enjoy that, let's go to Winston Churchill for something perhaps a little more impactful. I'm preparing my impromptu remarks. It seems like an oxymoron, but there's so much in this. If you're going to be a professional speaker, then thinking about the best way to say things all the time and experimenting with different ways of saying them and different ways of shaping them or different words to use to put them together and your timing and everything else that goes with it makes an enormous difference. So I'm preparing my impromptu remarks. It's a famous quote. Lots of people have been credited with this, actually. My sister bought me a canvas which we had in the wall on the restroom, the bathroom in England, and it was by Winston Churchill. So that's who I'm quoting this one. I don't know who said it first. It doesn't matter. It's great. So that's what we're going with. Okay, Winston Churchill. So how do you overcome speaker's block then? So is it a real thing? Well, Seth Godin is saying writer's block's not a real thing, so I'm guessing speaker's block's not a real thing either. We've got to find a way to move forward. Here's some practical things you can do. The first one is speak. Just speak. Just like a plumber's got to plumb. If you've got to say something, then just say it. Say it out loud. Give birth to something, and then evaluate it and edit it and make it better. On top of that, what else can you do? Well, here's 10 things you can do. Number 1, get booked. This is probably the most powerful force to overcome procrastination. If you're trying to kind of work on your speaking all the time, which I highly recommend, if you're always working on your stories, you're always working on different things to say, you've always got something to say, even though you haven't been booked yet to say it. So getting booked is one of the best ways to have that urgency to put stuff together. So get booked works very, very well. It removes all of the The procrastination, the sitting down, I'll just take the dogs for a walk, or I'll just do all of the. You've got no time for that. You just got to get on with it. So it works really well. So number one, get booked. If you get booked, it's amazing how much progress you make. Number two, remember this is what you do. This is what you do. If you're a professional, you got to get on with it. You got to find a way to get it done. So this is your job. You're a professional. Yes, sometimes it's going to be easier than others. Yes, sometimes it's going to be more creative than others. But sometimes you're going to get bad news. And you just got to get on with it. You just got to suck it up and do it because, this is what you do. This is what you've chosen. A friend of mine was just about to go on stage in front of 1,000, 2,000 people. And then he got a call from his mother that she had cancer. And he's being introduced while he's on the phone. And then he needs to go up and, do what he needs to do. So if you're a professional, just like at work, there's going to be times when you're not feeling it. You want a duvet day, but you have to go in because you've got stuff to do. If your work is a writer or a speaker or a trainer, it's going to be the same sometimes, isn't it? So maybe reminding yourself that this is what you do could be enough to make you go, well, I just better get on with it then. Number three, make it a habit to work at your best time. So I'm a morning person. I like working in the mornings. If I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, go and get my coffee, come back, sit down. The kids are asleep. Susan's asleep. My wife, Susan. The dogs are asleep for a bit longer at least. And then I can think. And that's my most creative. So I'm a morning person. Susan, though, she's an evening person. She comes alive in the evening. So if she's got something to do, she'd rather wait until the kids have gone to bed and do it in the evening. I'm falling asleep after 8 o'clock because I'm a morning person. She comes alive and she's asleep in the morning. So whatever works for you, find your best time. Find your best time when you're at your most creative and make it a habit to do something, little and often maybe, in that time. Number four, just share it somehow, whatever gives you the ability to do that. So tell the mirror. Or driving in your car, just say it out loud, or a camera or a voice recorder or another person, discuss it with another person, but somehow find a way to make noises with your mouth about the thing that you're supposed to be talking about, just to get it out, and then you can make it better. So tell someone. This is one of my favorites. Write it, whiteboard it, bullet it, mind map it, draw it, flowchart it, whatever works for you, but just engage with the material maybe in a different way. So when you're speaking, then you're either one of those people that wants to write it all out, and then you're going to try and learn a script, which I don't necessarily recommend, but it works for some people. Or you're one of those people that's never going to write anything down, and you're just going to say it, and I'm not sure I necessarily recommend that either. I prefer a hybrid, but whatever works for you. But if that way is not working for you now, maybe try something else, or draw it. Try and do a flow chart of your ideas. Try and turn your speech into bullet points that you can then work through. Do a mind map. Any of these things, or anything else. Turn it into pictures. Do the PowerPoints, even though you haven't finished the words. That's another way of engaging with the material, and it will help you think about it in a slightly different way. Okay, number 6, what's next? Think about the audience you're serving. You're not putting this together, this presentation for you and for you to look good, although you may think that initially. You're doing it to help people. You've got an important message that you want to share with them. It's important. You're going to help them. You're going to treasure their time. So you need to get this right. You need to work on this as much as you can with the time you have available. So you're going to treasure their time, do the very best you can, and just reminding yourself that, this is for other people. It's too important to skip on. Maybe that's going to help you get it done. So remember that there's an audience that you're serving. Number 7, time box it and then reward yourself. If you're struggling to practice, if you're struggling to write, if you're struggling to come up with your speech or your message or your presentation, say, right, I'm going to do this for the next 10 minutes or 20 minutes or 60 minutes, however, whatever works for you. I'm going to do it for this period of time, and then I'm going to give myself a reward. I'm going to take the dogs for a walk, or I'm going to go for a walk in the country. I'm going to go to the gym, go for a run or a cycle, or I'm going to go and get ice cream, or I'm going to have another square of that chocolate in the fridge. If that's, whatever it is for you, whatever you enjoy, then reward yourself. So you've done well, and then go back and then, and carry on, keep moving. So reward yourself. Find a way to do something, and then a little reward. Maybe that's going to help. Okay, what's next? Take a break and do something you enjoy. We kind of covered that really, I think, haven't we? So, cycling, go to the shops, go buy something. I enjoy tinkering with different things, or technology, or experimenting with different cameras or something. So if I'm working on something, then I'll do that. And then it's like, right, well, I'll just give myself half an hour at lunchtime, and I'll go and experiment with that new, whatever it is, new gadget. So that's me. I don't recommend that necessarily, but I enjoy it. So it's something that I enjoy. Number 9, let your subconscious work on something. This is really important. I find this to be incredibly powerful. In fact, this is the power, I think, of this whole process. Let your subconscious work on something. What does that mean? Well, if you're speaking to an audience, let's say in 3 days' time, and you leave it to the day before, and then you give yourself 4 hours to work on your message, your presentation the night before, it's all conscious, really. So you're kind of writing and you're striving and you're efforting and you're trying to put it together and you're trying to get it done, and it might be reasonable. But if you gave yourself 2 weeks to do that, so rather than trying to do it all at the last minute, you're giving yourself 2 weeks to work on it, and you're doing a little bit each day. So now it's little and often. Now you're working on it and then you're sleeping, and your subconscious has got the opportunity to work on it and soak it up 24/7. So all that time that you're doing a little bit and then letting it sit, a little bit and then letting it sit, coming back to it, your subconscious is working on it all the time. Then you get great ideas and you notice things and it's like, oh my goodness, I forgot about that. And it's like all of your resources are having an opportunity to come to the party and to help you, which you can't do if you're trying to do it at the last minute, because your subconscious doesn't have that opportunity to work on it while you're doing something else or thinking about something else or while you're sleeping. So you want your subconscious, it's your biggest ally. You want your subconscious to help you, but you need to give it an opportunity to do that. So little and often works really well. Okay, and then number 10, be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Don't forget that everyone has off days. So whether you're writing or you're speaking or a combination of the two, you're not going to be at your best all the time. I know sometimes we're in flow, we're like, we're writing and it's just so, and I love this, and then it's not working. We're like, oh, I've got writer's block, I've got speaker's block, I can't do it. How convenient is that? Oh, well, it means I just got to sit and watch TV until like this block clears. That's not my fault and it's nothing to do with me. As soon as the block clears, then I'll be back and I'll be giving it my very best and I'll do, my best work. But, I've got to wait, obviously, until the block clears. How convenient is that? How convenient is that? Particularly if it's a topic or an assignment that, you're not totally into for whatever reason. No, that doesn't work. So we're just acknowledging that this happens. You're not going to be at your best all the time. So be kind to yourself. Do the best you can. There's going to be peaks and troughs. There's going to be times when you're really into it, and there's going to be times when it's not working so well. And that's normal. That's growth, isn't it, in anything? And that's okay. So be kind to yourself. You're doing your best. Remember, we don't need to do it perfectly. We're not looking for perfection. Progress is enough. If we can just keep making progress, we're going to keep making better. We're going to keep getting better. And then it's just a matter of time. So progress, not perfection. And remember, with speaking, nothing is ever wasted. Nothing is ever wasted. You could work on a story for 3 days and then you're not going to use it. But nothing's ever wasted. You've worked on your delivery, you've worked on your voice, you've worked on your body language, your timing, your creativity, that whole kind of process. And probably that story would get better at some point in the future and you'll use it in some other way anyway. So nothing's ever wasted. Everything that you're doing to work on your speaking is going to help you at some point. Maybe not right away, and that's okay, but at some point it will. So nothing is ever wasted. Simple. So that's it. That's it for this week. No such thing as writer's block. It's not me telling you this. This is Seth Godin, marketing genius. No such thing as writer's block. No such thing as speaker's block. Just, maybe it's an off day. Just get on with it. If this has been useful, we'd love it if you would like the video on YouTube. If you're watching it on YouTube, we'd love it if you put a comment up as well. What do you want to see more of if you're enjoying these videos, but there's something specifically that you want us to cover, like fear of speaking or sales or whatever it is, just let us know. And we'd love it if you'd subscribe as well to the channel. So thousands of you have done this and we're really, really grateful. Thank you. It really helps us get these free videos out to more and more people. So if you can subscribe and click the bell so that you get a notification when the next one comes up, that would be great too. And share the link as well. That would be great. So if you're getting these by email and there's someone else that might benefit by getting them from email, speaking360.com. That's it for this week. Thanks so much for being a part of speaking360.com. I look forward to seeing you next week. Next week, I'm going to be in Romania next week for the International Maxwell certification in Romania, the John Maxwell team. So I'll be coming to you live from Romania next week. So I'll see you then if I don't see you before. Thanks, guys. Lots of love. Bye-bye. God bless.